Julio into Green Bay territory. A stiff arm at the 15. Touchdown Atlanta.
It's a four-man rush. Roethlisberger
winds up one pass down the middle, and it's intercepted.
The top scoring offense versus the top scoring defense. That's what we're going to see in Super Bowl 51. Now, it's only happened 6 times, so what does history tell us about these games? Let's go all the way back to Super Bowl I. The Chiefs, who own the AFL's most high-powered offense, faced the Packers and a defense that boasted 6 Hall of Famers. The Lombardi machine was at its zenith and perhaps the greatest team of all time. Suffice to say, Kansas City could not afford any turnovers.
Third down and a long 4. Dawson being rushed and throws. It is intercepted. And down the sidelines comes Willie Wood.
Green Bay won its 5th title in 7 years and the first Super Bowl behind its staunch defense. Fast forward 12 years later, Super Bowl 13 between the Steelers and Cowboys and what may have been the greatest Super Sunday of them all. Pittsburgh would outlast Roger Staubach and the Dallas Attack 35-31. But this particular game would be remembered as much for an offensive mistake as dominance.
And they're behind. And they're going to throw.
Oh, he's got it wide
open. Drop. Veteran Jackie Smith.
While Super Bowl 13 showed us that a great offense can't afford missed opportunities against an equally great defense, old-timers will tell you that Dallas getting away from Tony Dorsett was as big a factor as Smith's drop. It was also Terry Bradshaw's first 300-yard game. It took him 9 years to do that. Pittsburgh native Dan Marino passed the 300-yard mark 9 times in the 1984 season alone. He led a top-ranked Dolphins offense into Stanford Stadium for Super Bowl 19 against Bill Walsh's 49ers, who were known for their offense, but also boasted the NFL's top scoring defense that season. A game that was close in the first half got away in the second. Now, people pointed out the play of Joe Montana and Roger Craig, but I saw something different.
Spreading out across the field. Marino looking for 6, and it's picked off. Eric White.
San Francisco frustrated the MVP all evening. Bear in mind, Marino was coming off maybe the best individual offensive season ever. Well, he'd never gone up against a secondary that boasted 4 Pro Bowlers before. That's right, every starting DB for the 49ers went to the Pro Bowl that year.
Black 59 Razor! Black 59 Razor!
And to watch that. Montana going up top and Rice, touchdown.
You might have seen Montana making that now famous call before. But did you know that he was calling signals against the NFL's stingiest D that season? The Broncos got hammered in Super Bowl 24 in what's still the largest blowout in the game's history, 55-10. So what happened to their defense? Let's just call it the resume cover letter for Walsh's West Coast offense, even if George Seifert was now the head coach. Montana and Jerry Rice were at the top of their games, and Denver absolutely had no answer.
Launches it for the end zone! Jerry Rice! Oh, what a catch by Rice!
The very next season, the Niners were knocked off in their bid to three-peat by the NFL's top defense. That would be Bill Parcells' Giants. Defensive coordinator Bill Belichick faced an even bigger challenge in the Super Bowl with Buffalo's K-Gun offense. Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas, and Andre Reed ran right through the AFC, scoring 95 points in 2 postseason games. So in Super Bowl 25, Belichick played a 2-5 defense, employing 5 linebackers underneath to disrupt Kelly's routes. This let Thomas run wild, but the strategy worked as the Giants, holding on to a 20-19 lead, held down the fort long enough to force a last-second field goal attempt.
Right, arm extended, puts it down.
In the air, it's got the distance, it is no good!
Super Bowl 48 held no such drama. It had been 23 years since the NFL's most explosive offense faced its toughest defense. Considering a great defense is often played with great emotion, think about Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor and crew, and you never want to give them an early lift.
It's snapped over the head of Peyton Manning. A flag is down and the ball's out of the back of the end zone.
Sure, Denver had 59 minutes to recover from Peyton Manning watching that football sail past his helmet, but it set the tone for the day. Perhaps Manning, who had endured his share of postseason failures, started pressing. Maybe the entire offense panicked. Or maybe Pete Carroll's D, which had led the league in scoring 4 straight years, the only time that's ever happened in the Super Bowl era, mind you, was simply better than the Broncos. Holding the NFL's most dynamic offense to 8 points would seem to underline the point. The point here is that while all these Super Bowls were settled by mitigating factors, one trend emerges. Through a half-century of Super Bowls, premier offenses are cut down by top-shelf defenses. In the 6 Super Bowls prior to 51, it's top defenses 5, top offenses 1.